Welcome to the Mental Funny Bone, a podcast where we strive to create a safe and entertaining space where listeners can explore mental health topics, find solace, and enjoy laughter. This podcast aims to de-stigmatize mental health discussions and empower individuals to approach their own well-being with humor and openness. I'm Sarah.
And I'm Christine, and neither of us is a mental health professional. However, we speak routinely with mental health professionals because that's what grown-ups do when they have problems they need to deal with. So I suggest everybody do that.
I like that.
It's also a bit judgy.
Maybe I should tone it down on the intro a little bit. I don't know.
We're going to let it ride.
Okay.
People can complain if they want. They know how to get a hold of us.
gastrogirls@gmail.com.
gmail.com. We'll
Tell me
take
how
your
the
complaints.
intro is. Yeah.
We'll take your complaints. I will start us off with a little bit of feedback and fan mail that we've gotten the past couple of weeks. So I was in Philadelphia a couple weeks ago with some work colleagues, and every kind of time we get together, they're always asking about the podcast, and they're very supportive, and it is often something that gets mentioned when we're talking to our colleagues. So I really appreciate that about my colleagues, that they bring up the podcast and let me talk about it with strangers. So I did get to talk to a couple of people about it, and it was eye-opening the way that you can make a connection with somebody by being vulnerable. So he and I were having a conversation about sort of mental health and how we can have a comedy podcast about it. He's like, "Oh, this fits along with, kind of my stuff. I'm in recovery and I've been going through that process." And I was like, well, kind of very similar. He's like, it's similar in that I'm going to tell you that and I'm going to be vulnerable. You're going to tell me something and you're going to be vulnerable. And then we're going to understand each other as people. And when we have to do work stuff together, we're going to be able to do that better and more effectively. And I was like, this
Amen.
is awesome. Thank you.
This is the point of it, right?
Yeah, I'm like, this is exactly why we do what we do. So whether or not these people are listening, I have no idea. As we're leaving the dinner that we were attending, the one girl goes, "Oh, I know your podcast. My husband listens to it. He's a neurologist." I was like, "Wait, what?" I'm like, "I do our the Mental Funny Bone." She's like, "Yeah,
Do you
he
know who I
loves
am?
it." Right. I was like, "Are you?" I'm not a Kelsey brother or anything, so I'm not sure. She's like, "Oh no, he loves it." I was like, right on. Right on.
I would like to hear from this neurologist.
Right. So if you're listening and your wife had dinner in King of Prussia at any point,
Yeah.
could you just let me know that that's true? Because I have clung to it
Girls.
like the tiniest bit of positive feedback for the past 2 weeks.
That actually makes me feel like famous.
Right. I was like, wait, what? And I looked over at everyone and I was like, I wish you could see the face I'm making, because it was one of those, like, oh, who's important now faces.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah,
they appreciate that too. I'm sure my work friends really like that. Also, I went to eat fish because it's Lent. I don't know if you guys know.
I love the fried variety of fish.
I think the Pope has also come out and explained that eating fish on Fridays doesn't count as a sacrifice if you really like fried fish. So this destroys all of my hopes of getting into heaven, because I was kind of banking on the not eating the meat on Fridays as like the thing I did.
We don't do that. We don't have to do that. And
with your
maybe
holy
we do.
roller snake charmer religion.
But when I started going to Noah's church and changing over to this church, I was like, ha ha ha, hey fuckers, I'm going on getting double the meat on Fridays. Eat it, bitch.
Which I don't think is what Jesus intended either. I don't know where he came up with
Makes
it.
me like the worst Christian ever. Well, no, but I mean, makes me a pretty shitty Christian. And then I learned we don't eat meat on Good Friday. And I was like, what?
Why?
This is wow. I thought we were cooler than that.
Right. So the Pope has come out. and said, it's not just to let you eat fried fish on Friday. It's for sacrifice, guys. Come
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
And I don't know, is the Pope sick? Is he better?
Yeah, I was just going to ask if the Pope, when you said that Pope came out, I thought you were going to tell me he came out of the hospital because
Is he in the hospital? Becca.
yeah,
Becca.
yeah, he was in the hospital. He had double ear infection, no, double lung infection.
What is he, a
He's
toddler?
not a toddler.
He had to stay home from preschool. He couldn't bless the masses.
Yeah, he was sick. I don't know if he's better yet. Yes. No, I can't read that.
Becca, unmute yourself and just talk.
Yeah, unmute yourself. Make yourself known.
CNN says Pope Francis is improving and is no longer in, quote, immediate danger, quote.
Oh,
I guess that's good.
all right.
I mean, I'm happy for the Pope, but I'm also 100% fascinated by picking a new Pope. Like, it is one of the like old medieval traditions that is just hanging in there, and I love to watch it. I'm like, lock him in a room and then somebody catches on fire and then
I
there's
was going to say,
smoke.
doesn't smoke come from somewhere? It reminds me of like when the priest would come down the aisle when we had to go to church at St. Michael's with
Mhm.
the smoking thing.
Yeah, right. Incense, I think is what you're.
Whatever. It smelled good. I liked it. It's kind of like one of those smells that a lot of people don't like. And I was like, ooh,
It's nice. It's nice.
I like that. I like that.
Right.
Anyway.
Build long and glorious tradition. And yeah, I love it. I love watching the spectacle of it.
Yeah.
But nice to know that that poor old guy is doing
Yeah.
better and he'll be able to save souls and tell me that eating fried fish isn't going to get me into heaven. Awesome.
Yeah.
Anyway, so
I do.
speaking,
What's his name? The Francis? Pope
Francis,
Francis? Okay.
um,
Shout out to Pope Francis because, he probably listens.
I'm sure he does. He's a neurologist.
One of the nurses there makes him listen to it.
Shh, Pope Francis. Just
Is he in a regular hospital? Is there like a special
no, there's special
Vatican hospital?
Pope hospital. Pope. Obviously, it's
Hmm.
a Pope hospital. Come on.
Okay.
He has a Pope mobile. He can't just go to normal hospital.
Do they carry him or is that was like the Egyptians?
I don't know what they do, but I
Do
am
you know what I'm imaging? Like him in a glass
yes.
box and they're carrying.
Yes. Yes.
We
As
have
soon as you
gone
said it,
so far off the fucking rails. I can't.
we're going to have, I believe what we said is we are going to have a short targeted episode this week. one that makes sense.
This is making my day so much better that I can't even stand it. Okay.
Here's where we are. We're talking about a Pope box. Get off
The
your
Pope
Pope
Mobile
box.
box.
So what I'm picturing is they have him in that litter, I think is what it's called. And there's like 6 cardinals who are like in the running to take his job and they like carry him to the hospital. That's what the Vatican hospital, the special one room Pope
Yeah.
spittle, Pope spittle.
Pope spittle. He has special nurses. What is it? Okay. All right. Okay.
That's it.
Move
That's
on.
it. We're done.
Okay.
We're done. We're done. We're done. Speaking of religion and the Middle Ages, I was in Prague.
Wait, you didn't finish your story about fish soup. No, fish sandwiches.
No, that was it. There's the Pope has come down that this isn't going to save my soul, and if I'm not willing to sacrifice, I shouldn't even
But I thought there
bother.
was a story of someone talking to you about our podcast as you were eating a fish sandwich.
Nope, you made that up in your head. I had moved on from the neurologist to the Pope. I can't remember how.
When did you talk to Christy?
Oh, okay. Yes. No, Christy
Okay.
wasn't talking. I'm back.
Okay, welcome to the party. Thank you.
I haven't had a lot of sleep lately. So Christy and I sit down. Well, I sit down and then David sits down. Then Christy and Danny B walk in and she sits down at the table next to us. And I'm like, hey. And this happens a lot because it's a small town. There's not that many places to go and there aren't that many of us. Run into people all the time. And Christy's like, I love your podcast. You and your sister are so good and your personalities shine through. And I am getting better at saying, thank you. I appreciate that you listen. It's fun for us to do it rather than being like, oh, rude.
Do that again. Oh my God, please do it.
Right. Like an excited Seal. It is an excited seal is what it is, right? Like my flippers are going, I'm bouncing up and down. I'm so sorry, thank you. Right, idiot. So instead of doing that, I'm like, oh, thanks. We have a good time. We're happy that you listen. And then, we talk about mundane things, and she's like, and I was really surprised to hear that about Olivia. And I was like, oh, and then I get a little bit tongue tied, right? I'm like, oh yeah, just like all of these things, like it's easier for you to understand if Olivia has a broken leg, but these things happen in a space that you can't necessarily see. And happy that we could talk about it. And it turns out that Christy has close relatives who are also going through some similar issues. So it was nice to be able to in my own community feel good and comfortable talking about Olivia and talking about other people who are facing some of these challenges and being able to talk about how like we should be able to talk about this all the time. Like if Olivia had been born without a nose, that would be noticeable. I mean, it's just what I thought of. I'm reading a
I
lot
get
of
it. It's fine.
like
Yeah.
and we wouldn't necessarily spend the entire conversation talking about these sort of physical limitations, just like we don't need to spend the entire conversation talking about the mental ones. But it is nice to acknowledge that people are struggling. So that was good. That was a nice
I
thing.
like it. Awesome. Um, I like stories like that. I like the neurologist. I like it all. I like the Pope. I like it all. May I share one? Okay, now I have three little things to share.
Like three little birds
Three little
on my
birdies.
doorstep.
We are going to talk about birds, actually. One of them is about birds. Number one, went to our alma mater yesterday, Elizabeth Forward High School, for the first time since 1996, I think. It looks very similar. Looks very similar. Went there for American Foundation Suicide
Suicide prevention.
Prevention, AFSP. And I went with our friends Jackie and Ed from March 4th.
Yay!
And we went together because I was anxious about going through the shit's under construction. I was scared on where to go. So they're wonderful and let me ride with them. Anyway, so it was a nice day. It was nice to spend time with them. And I just wanted to mention it because Jackie, after AFSP spoke, Jackie got up to say her thing and she gets really nervous about it and kind of anxious. And I think this was the fourth one that she's done. And they did say that the first time they really talked about it was on our podcast. So I thank them for that. I thought that was pretty cool. Anyway, she kicked fucking ass. Like she had to
Yay!
do it twice, and both times she did an amazing job. And Tanner is really pushing her to do things out of her comfort zone, and she's just kicking ass. So, and the kids were very appreciative to her and Ed for coming to talk, and it was nice. I got to spend some time with them. So, thank you, Jackie and Ed, for letting me tag along and do that. And shout out to Larissa because I got to say hi to her because she's an amazing teacher.
She's a teacher there?
Yeah,
I
at the
didn't
high
know
school.
that. Oh.
Yeah. I talked to her. I was like, God bless you, because I'd never be able to do this. I was about to go up in those bleachers and tear that one girl's hair out, tell her to shut the fuck up.
Right. I would have trouble. Like, there's nothing more frightening to me than a group of teenagers. Like,
Yeah. And that's what Jackie was saying. Like, and this is the biggest crowd, and it's 9th through 12th grade.
right. There's like, if I'm like wandering around a foreign country, let's say, and there's a group of teenagers, I am automatically like, well, here's how I get killed. Please don't talk to me. Like, I would rather walk
Totally
down
makes
a
sense.
dark alley at 3 o'clock in the morning and take my chances versus walking past a group of teenagers just after school's let out.
Yeah. It totally makes sense. Totally. All right.
Oh.
So that was one. Now we'll go to two. Shout out to my sister-in-law, Sam. She informed me that when I spoke about Chicago, I did not share all the good stories. So I'm not going to do it now because we have a lot of other shit that we need to talk about. But Sam, I promise I've written myself a note. I'm going to make Becca write herself a note that we need more Chicago stories, and I'll try to pepper some in. So just be on the lookout for that. Lastly, nice weather is finally upon us. We are finally getting
Yay.
a break from the shitty
Amen.
weather. And something has happened to Macho, and it's very entertaining. I mean, kind of entertaining. It gets kind of annoying now, but the birds have come back. So Macho is so confused. We go outside and you could hear all the birds and he's like looking everywhere. So now he makes it his mission when going outside to say hi to all the birds. So he looks up into the trees, like every one of them makes noise. He has to make eye contact. Then he tries to chase the ones that are on the ground and hopping. So he tries to hop. Macho, we don't have a fenced in backyard. Macho is on a retractable leash and he's been on that leash for almost 2 years now. And he doesn't remember that he's on that leash. And he goes full out, man. He sees a bird and he goes, yeah, charging. And then he learns really quick he's on a leash. And then he does it again. Like he repeatedly does it while we're outside. So I just wanted to mention the good weather and I wanted to mention Macho's obsession with birds. And I should also mention that I took Macho's doorbell out already, so we won't have that interruption.
I'm disappointed. I look
Yeah.
forward to every episode knowing when Macho needs to go pee.
And for the gastro story, I was going to talk about fish sticks, but I feel like we can move on. Let's move on. I want to hear about your week or however many days in Prague. Just for everybody's knowledge, I had COVID last week. It sucked. My sister was gallivanting around doing awesome shit while I was at home dying.
It did not suck.
So I want to hear about Prague, and then you're going to lead the whole thing. You're going to lead us through the next 2 chapters of Let Them. So give us a scoop on Prague.
So I will tell you guys that business travel generally means that I am sleeping in a courtyard by Marriott, generally in a place like King of Prussia, which is nice, but not super scenic. There's a nice mall there. Or I am someplace in New Jersey, or, maybe on occasion we'll go to Texas. But I had the chance to go to a conference, a data management conference in Prague, and wow, like what up, nerds? How's it going? So we're last minute. We're trying to decide flights. We're trying to figure out who's going to go. And it turns out I have to be in Philadelphia, so I'm gonna meet up with my with my work buddy Nicole, and we're gonna fly off and go to Prague. Overnight flight, like cool ass kind of thing. Then we were in Paris for our layover, and it got kind of ruined a little bit, our trip there. And this will tell you how spoiled I am and how privileged I am and how I don't really understand the gift of being able to take international trips and not pay for them out of my own pocket. I couldn't get into the lounge in Charles de Gaulle Airport because I didn't have the right kind of ticket. So I am used to
this ruined it. This ruined it.
I am used to being able to sit comfortably in the lounge and have someone come and take my plate away for me when I'm done snacking. I am used to being able to walk up to the little bar in the lounge and being like, "Yes, do you have champagne? I'll have a mimosa, please." And having that happen. And now I can't even get into the lounge because the French lady was like, "Oh, we are going to be very busy today. I cannot even sell
I
you
like
a
your
pass."
accent. Well done. Well done.
Right. I took French in high school.
Well done.
But that was exactly how it was. She looked. She had a very smart haircut. She looked very French, very fashionable, even though she's wearing a uniform. So now I'm left to wander aimlessly through the terminal like so many other tourists. But all kidding aside, even the was awesome. I am challenged by the things that normally challenge travelers. I couldn't figure out how to dry my hair because the plugs are different, and it's not just the plug. It's not just the plug, it's the electricity that goes into the plug. I don't know.
Does it have something to do with a metric system? Like, why? What? I don't get it. Like, why are things weird? Why are things different? Everything we do is fucking different. Our temperature's different. Our numbers are different. Everything's fucking different. And I don't,
Right. It's
who
because
knows how long that kilometers is? I don't fucking know.
We fought hard for that right, I'll point out. There's a great Saturday Night Live skit that I could point everyone to by Nate Bargatze, where he talks about our intrinsic right as Americans to measure things in a way that makes no sense.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
Totally.
it was.
Sorry, go ahead.
great, except for the hairdryer in the hotel room that they provide for you. It was like somebody was blowing on my hair gently and softly, like, right, like that. Right. And you had to hold the button down to keep it going because apparently in Europe, they're way more concerned about not having a planet to live on once we destroy the ozone layer.
It seems that tracks.
These guys.
Yeah, these fucking guys.
But there's a lot of work to do, and I'm meeting some colleagues, and it turns out no matter what language we're all speaking, I am the loudest. And if there is an opportunity to have a microphone in one's hand, I will take that opportunity. Even though it isn't my conference, this isn't like I have my own America data management conference, but no, I have to invade these poor Europeans and take over. So if you ever want to meet a quiet group of people, it is data managers from around the world. I was like, hey guys, what are we doing? Like for whatever reason, we had to do a group activity in one of the sessions. A group activity of all
Fucking
things.
worst. They're the worst. They're the fucking worst. Almost. They're right behind the icebreakers.
I almost got up and left. We did both in this particular session,
Yeah,
but
it's fucking. I can't stand it.
this will surprise you. I was late, so I missed the icebreaker.
I mean, maybe my next conference, if I ever get to go anywhere or get invited anywhere again in my life, I think I might do that.
Just show
It
up
will
late
cause
so
me
you
to
don't
have
have
a
to.
super crazy panic attack.
It's great. It was great. Table needs a spokesperson. I'm like, all right, do you guys want, who wants to talk? And they were like, they made that noise. And I was like, okay, I'll talk. So
it has to be a gasture thing.
that was fun. Like the part of the exercise was how we were doing the pretend clinical trial was taking place in West Virginia and how there's a high level of obesity. So the fact that the weights for these people was higher than expected was just sort of written off by the fact that everyone here is fat. I was like, I don't want to be picky. I don't want to be picky because it's not my conference, not my country. But FYI, there are skinny people in West Virginia. So
yeah, there
that
are
was
people who do lots of. Never mind.
Stop.
That's in every state.
And the thing about international travel is the time difference means that you are awake way early in the US morning and you're available and accessible to people who need to ask you questions way, way late at night. So I had trouble regulating that and ended up accidentally staying up all night 2 nights in a row, which for someone in my advanced age never works out great. Like I haven't.
Advanced age.
I'm 51.
I like it.
51. Yeah.
Are you 51?
Yeah. I'll be 52 this year.
Okay.
And then because things are so busy, there's opportunities for everyone to go sightseeing. And I had to press my sightseeing time in Prague to 6 hours. And that was it. That was the only sightseeing time we had. But it was an amazing 6 hours. I saw ancient cathedrals. I blasphemed a good deal while being inside of the church.
Okay, I didn't know what that word was, but I figured it out.
Yeah, I said a lot of bad things while
You're
I
your
was
father's daughter.
there.
What can I say?
I mean, we're walking around a cathedral, medieval cathedral that these guys had made, which is oddly enough next door to the basilica that they had already made, which is also next door to the church that they had already made, and the chapel that they had already made. Time out?
What's the difference between all of these buildings?
Chapels are little, churches are a little bit bigger, basilicas are slightly from what I can tell. I mean, I'm just basing it on this one experience, but
It's
they
just about
got,
size.
Yeah, it's about money. I think there's also money, and I think the cathedral might have more dead saints in it or something. I'm not quite sure.
Are they all the same? Like, are they all St. Michael's congregation, or are they different congregations?
As far as I can tell,
I don't know.
And it's all, the signs are all in Czech, which I don't speak.
Okay. Meanwhile, I just see check marks.
Right. It's like that. There's like a C with an accent on it. I was like, Why are
Yeah.
the Z's all together with the S's? It seems like they make enough of the same
Did
sound.
like Billy Madison doing cursive?
Right. There was like a D with a hat on it. I'm like, I don't, not sure.
No.
But it was all fascinating. And it turns out in this particular cathedral, they are taking up a collection to buy a new organ.
Okay.
And then I looked at the place where the organ was, and the organ is 2 stories and is bigger than my house. Like the organ. The amount of stained glass and gold and marble in this cathedral, I'm thinking could have gone a long way to maybe making sure some peasants didn't die in the Middle Ages.
Yeah. I mean,
I don't know. It was great though, because there's so many Game of Thrones quotes, and I had no sleep, so I was extra funny. There's a sculpture, a beautiful sculpture of Pope. I think it's Popey kind of guy, and he's sitting down, and there's a guy like sitting behind him, so it looks like they're sledding. Like it looks like they are. I was like, what is this? And I took pictures of things because I'm like, I'm gonna look that up when I get back home and figure out what that was. No, I haven't even looked at the pictures except for the Pope on a sled. I looked at Pope on a sled a couple times.
Pope on a sled. I love that. You sent us some pictures and it was absolutely gorgeous. I was very jealous.
It is. And we're inside Prague in this castle, and I think maybe the mayor of Prague lives in the castle. There were there was
Prague
a
is a
changing
country,
of the guard.
right?
No, Prague is a city. Prague is a city.
Fuck.
in the Czech Republic. Right.
That makes sense now. Okay, Czech Republic is the
country.
Right. Prague is just a city. It's not a state.
No.
Not everybody has states.
Not
I know
everybody
Canada
has
has the
states.
provinces.
I can't with you.
Hey, that Facebook thing came up for me again that was defining the UK, Great Britain, and everything. And I just looked at the little sections, and there's a bunch of repeating shit in each section, and it pisses me the fuck off. So I just kept scrolling. Go ahead.
I mean, I had the opportunity to ask the question several times. I was like, so can you just break it down for me? Like, how the soccer teams get promoted and why you don't just have states? Like, is it 4 countries? There's 4 countries as a one country. You can't have a country in a country. It doesn't make any sense.
Exactly. This is what I'm saying. I believe that you laughed at me the first time I said this. This is ridiculous. You can't say there's these 3, this is a country, but then say, oh, but the UK, what? I don't take your weird electrical outlets, your nonsensical UK-ness.
Right. Take your big fat plug and where you can
your
put
metric system.
Right.
Shove your Celsiuses up your ass.
They said that's the thing that doesn't make sense. They're like, what's the word for 1,000 pounds? I was like, half a ton.
1,000.
They're like, I was like, a kilopound.
Who cares?
Anyway, so that was like that was my adventure.
I was kidding. I apologize to any of our UK friends because I know that you're out there. I know you're listening. I apologize. You guys are much better than we are.
I mean, it's fine. This gives us stuff to talk about, differences in opinion and such. You could also Uber in the Czech Republic. So we get to the Czech Republic. We've been awake for like, I don't know, 39 hours or something. And I'm like, we could get an Uber because I'm looking at the Uber app on my phone and it says, all right, go outside and pick up the Uber. You're going to show this code. Just hop in the first vehicle in line and show the guy the code. I'm like, all right. So we ask the person at the information desk, who I would assume is the person that has the information about what to do. And I show her the Uber app and she's like, oh yes, that's upstairs. Go out upstairs on level 2. Okay, so we go out. And what it is just there's a bunch of cars kind of just hanging out there. And I'm like, do you think we just get in a car, Nicole? And Nicole's like, I don't think that sounds right. And luckily we didn't do that because this is where the people wait to pick up relatives.
I really wish that you would have done that so badly. I wish. This story would be so much. I mean, this is great, but I mean, it would be so much better if you would have got in a stranger's car in a strange country and showed him a code and spoke English.
Hi, we need to go to the hotel.
Code.
Do you know how to get to the Clarion Hotel? It's
'Cause
the
you know
Clarion.
they can understand you if you say it louder.
Loud and slow. Right. So no, that is not where you do that. So luckily we went inside and found the Uber line before we popped in the car with somebody's grandma. And here's what I was going to do. I was just going to go around and put my shit in the trunk and then pop in the back seat. Can you imagine sitting at the airport waiting for somebody and then some dumb bitch just pops out and she's like, "Hey, put my shit in your trunk. Let's go. Here's my code. What up, bro?" There were a lot of near misses like that.
Oh, I love that.
And it was very humbling too, because everybody speaks English and I don't speak Czech. So I was like, "I'm
Yeah.
sorry, do you speak English?" And she's like, "Yes, of course I speak English." And I was like, "It's not as common to speak two languages where I come from. So I would appreciate a little less disdain in your yes answer,
Well,
if you could."
I
I mean, man who's trying to help me find a plug to plug in my curling iron.
So you found the Uber?
Yeah, found the Uber. Yeah,
Okay.
it was all good. We Ubered everywhere. Prague is now my favorite city because it is so beautifully medieval and
Oh.
the streets are tiny and there's cobblestones everywhere and everyone is friendly-ish. I'm pretty sure they're scamming me out of some kind of money. Like every time I went to pay with my credit card, he's like, "Do you want to pay in dollars or checks?" I was like, "I'll just write you a check." It's hilarious. Hilarious. Yeah, it was beautiful and I wish that I would have had a lot more time to spend there. And I was sad when I had to come home.
Once we're famous, we'll go over there and record.
That would be awesome. We go to the bridge. There was a bridge that was famous for some reason.
We can record from the bridge. We can record from the basilica, which sounds like the snake in Harry Potter. We can record from the chapel, the cathedral.
Right. We could record from any number of churches
All
underneath.
Of them. We'll be super blessed.
Any amount of stained glass. Right.
Yes.
Also, it turns out that I am so American that even before I talk, you know I'm American.
Yeah.
I don't know how, but apparently I just radiate Uncle Sam's armpits. Like that is the feeling I give off.
Wonder why?
I don't know. It's something to do with my aggressive walking. I don't know.
Yeah, it's weird.
The fact that it looked like somebody blew on my hair like this for 2 days. They're like, "Oh, bad hair. Got to be American. Can't figure out how to plug shit in. Better
Chelsea
laptop's
doesn't know
dead
how to
too."
do anything here.
Right. Right. Anyway, so that was it. That was a good time. I really enjoyed myself. I didn't realize how far away it was because you had to take 9 flights. Like to get back, I went from Prague to Paris to Boston to home.
Oh, that sounds terrible.
It was a lot. It was a lot of flying. But I did get the opportunity, which I have never had before and I will never have again. I got to make a pillow fort on the airplane. Like I had all 4 middle seats to myself and all 4 pillows and all 4 blankets because they still give you those things on an international flight. So I laid down and died for a good 3 hours of the trip. So good stuff all around. I can't wait to go back. Thank you, Prague. And thank you guys for listening to me yammer on about things.
I love it.
My final word is that if you get the chance to go do touristy things with a group of people and none of you knows the history or has done any research or can read any of the signs, it's best to have somebody with you that will just make some stuff up. So I'm going to give Jumbo a little bit of a shout out here.
I was just going to say Daddy would be the best. If we could just put him in your pocket and take him with you.
Right.
Wow.
Right. Because we were in a long hallway at one point, and I was like, "What do you think they use this for?" And the girl who was with us, who was a girl, just pops off with this long explanation of why you would have a long hallway. And I was like, "Wow, Jess, did you research this?" And she was like, "Oh no, I made that up."
Yeah.
Straight faced.
Yeah.
I was like, "This is the best."
I feel like you had to do it a few times because I feel like it's a family talent that we have. And somehow people believe us. Like yesterday we had a boosters meeting and the one girl said, they make banners. It's down in Crafton. And I was like, Crafton banners. And the other girl was like, oh, okay. And was writing down craft and banners.
Don't write that down. That's not it.
And she was like, wait, are you fucking with me? And I was like, yeah, I don't know what the fuck the name of that place is, but I mean, craft and banners made sense.
Right. No,
But yeah.
I mean, I got to do it a couple times. We walked
I'm
into
sure
a
you
room
did.
and there were like family crests or stuff on the ceiling. And I'm like, oh no, this is the family tree of the mayor
Yeah.
of Prague, the ruler of this castle. Everyone got to write their name on the ceiling.
See?
But they didn't.
Yeah.
I don't know what I to this day.
Yeah.
No idea.
But I'm sure that you made up some good shit while you were over there.
Delightful. I highly
Daddy would have
recommend
been
it.
proud.
It's often more interesting than what actually happened. Like, why are and I also poorly translating the signs. Like when we were in France, there was a sign for the frontier police. I was like, "Oh, no, it's immigration. This is immigration.
Oh,
It's the
yeah.
frontier police."
That sounds right.
Yeah. I was like, oh, here we are. I need to show
Got
this
it.
man my passport. And he looked at me and he said, passport.
Passport.
And I said, oh, here it is. Hi. Maybe that's how everybody knows I'm American because I'm just
Yeah.
smiling all the time.
And he
Hi.
was like, wow, you dumb American.
Stupid. Welcome to Prague. Idiot.
When I travel to Canada, I'm constantly saying, sorry, I'm just dumb American.
I don't mean to be aggressive and take over an entire conversation. I don't know why or how it happens. All right, let's talk books. Let's talk books.
Yeah, I'm super excited to talk about this book because I'm definitely intrigued by your thoughts.
Yeah, I shared a little bit before that I don't like this book.
Yeah.
I don't know why I don't like the book. Like, I like everything about it. I like the ideas. I think that she's spot on when she's talking about how to manage and regulate your emotions as you go through a world that isn't necessarily centered on your happiness, which I think is sort of the crux of this, is that nobody around you owes you a good time. Nobody around you owes you a particular feeling or a particular anything. Nobody owes you an invite to girls' weekend. And people are going to do what they are going to do. And that's kind of like the let them piece of it, right? To recap from a couple weeks ago. And the let me piece of that is these are things I can control and I can do to impact what happens to me in the future. So both of those things together are good. And I like those thoughts and I think that they're accurate, but I don't know why I have trouble reading.
Oh, I didn't. I thought I muted it.
Reading this book.
Fuck, I'm sorry. I swear I muted it.
Hilarious.
That has to be cut out. I hate playing. No, right, I'm gonna be.
Oh no, there's no way we're cutting that out. No way. All right, so let me.
That was a really sloppy one.
It sounded amazing. It sounded amazing. So I do think that Mel Robbins is good. I do think she's insightful. I don't know why I can't get past her writing. I don't know. I think those two things can exist simultaneously, though. I think I can not like the writing and appreciate the ideas.
You'll just be irritated as you read
Right.
it.
Like,
It'll just be hard to read.
Like, I'm angry right now because
And this is what I wanted to get to because you were very like, it's not really my cup. Like you were.
no, like
There was feeling. There was a lot of feeling behind your disgust with this book.
Yeah, I don't. And maybe it comes back to what we talked about in the beginning. Like, this bitch takes these ideas that are like almost obvious at this point to me, writes them down in a book, and then sells them
becomes a bazillionaire.
and sells them to housewives because they're unhappy with the fact that they couldn't get into the lounge in France.
Yeah, you have feelings. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah.
I think that might be part of it. I'll pick it apart later, but I mean, suffice it to say that this is a struggle for me to read. I liked chapter 3, like stress less, control your reactions, not the world, I think she says at one point. And right now, also professionally, I am going through a period of time where I am working harder probably than I have since COVID. I am under a lot of pressure to do things successfully with not a lot of tools, resources, or understanding of the assignment. So I am stressed, and it is a challenge for me to try and control that without sort of doing what I do when I'm normally stressed, which is just to double down, work more, pay less attention to things that I should, and just kind of barrel through whatever it is that's challenging.
So I think that's like the exact opposite of what you should be doing.
Right. It turns out,
Okay.
it
Yeah.
turns out I should be, and it has like that is a lot of the reason that I ended up staying up all night because there was just I'm like I'm just going to do one more thing. I'm just going to do one more thing, and looking at chapter 3 and chapter 4, I'm probably a bit irritated with them because they are telling me what I should be doing, and what I'm doing is the exact opposite of them. So I'm probably a bit annoyed with someone telling me something obvious that I simply refuse to do
That you're
for
just
whatever
ignoring.
reason. Yeah.
I feel like that might be your problem with it. Like,
It
yeah,
might.
this
It
all
might.
makes sense and I bet it works, but I'm not going to do it.
Right. Right. I'm like, I completely understand. Control my reactions, not the world. And I will say that I am getting better at looking at things that are happening and understanding that these are things that are happening, and not everything that is happening is a direct result of my effort. So, like 2 years ago, Christine would have looked at the situation and been like, well, things are like this because I did something wrong. So in order to make up for it, I'm gonna kill myself working to make it better. And now I'm much more likely to be like, well, yeah, this is a terrible pickle we've gotten ourselves into, and how can we get out of it? And
I'm still going to work as hard.
yeah, well, I'm gonna work
I'm
as
still
hard,
going
but
to
I'm
overwork myself, but at least I'm not going to blame myself.
right, like
Steps, baby steps,
right,
baby
like
steps.
I want to make it easier for everybody else, right? Like I want everybody else to come into a situation where they can be successful. That is like the doubling down now isn't because I have to make up for my inadequacies. My doubling down now is because I want everyone to be happy. So different,
Because you're people pleasing.
right?
So I don't
Different,
know. I feel like this is trading your pack of smokes for your puffer.
right? We're vaping now. Cool.
Yeah, exactly. Because I feel like this is exactly what has happened.
And we all we we are also having this discussion around the behavior, which is something that we would have never had before. Because I wouldn't have talked about it. I would have been like,
Right.
I'm so ashamed of what I have done and how bad I am at everything that I can't even talk about. I'll just work until I die because I deserve it. Where now I'm like, let's figure out why we're like this. The other thing I really liked about chapter 3, which will resonate with anyone who's listened to this podcast for more than one episode, is the power of pause. Do you remember when she talks about this, like the ability to kind of take that beat and be like, oh, yeah, yep. I have to take a minute and protect my own energy and figure out how do I maintain my peace of mind by consciously choosing not to react to things that are bothering me. Like, how do I choose to say, all right, yeah, that's irritating. Like a couple examples I think from my own life are yeah, things people are asking me questions today, and I'm like, ugh, why are you asking me this question? And being able to take a beat and be like, they're asking you that question because they need to know the answer, right? Like,
Right. Right.
just
I
give them the
agree with this
answer.
because I do it all the time. Like as soon as my little Teams thing comes up, I'm like, oh, what the fuck do they want? And it's like, yeah, they want you to
Yeah,
do your
they're
job, asshole.
right. They need your help with something, and they're not
Right.
annoying you. So let them ask their questions, and
Hmm.
let me figure out how I can best help them quickly and efficiently. So,
Right.
I
Right.
mean, positive steps, positive steps. So chapter 3 all makes sense. I don't really have a whole lot more to talk about
I'm
outside of
looking
that.
through it now. I think that pretty much covers it. Yeah.
Yeah, and then chapter 4, opinions, right? So again, we're dancing back into fear of other people's opinions, right? And how that can hold you back, and how people waste time and energy attempting to get other people to think a specific way about them. Like, and it is exactly the first rule of mastery, right? Our buddy Ricky Gervais, Michael Gervais,
Damn it,
whatever.
Mikey.
This chapter is essentially that chapter put into a blender and spit out by a fluffy pink bunny.
Ooh, a fluffy pink bunny.
Right. Freedom through accept. There's a lot of like catchphrases like freedom through acceptance.
Yeah, it looks like I didn't highlight so much in this chapter. And I say it looks like because I'm looking through my book because I shared this earlier. I read this 2 weeks ago. So I obviously don't remember a fucking thing I read. So I'm looking at my highlighted shit. And in chapter 4, I really only have 2 things highlighted, which is very odd. And I'm assuming that I did that because it's all shit that we've really dug into before. And more into the faux pose shit of things.
Right, right. Again, like let other people have their opinions. Like let other people have their opinions about you. You're not going to eh, you're not necessarily going to do a whole lot to change somebody else's opinion about you because they rarely even think about you. So if you are constantly out here trying to get people to think a certain way about you, your best bet at getting people to think the way that you want them to think about you is living your life. So then there's
Yeah.
the let me piece of it is I'm going to do the things that I'm going to do in the way that I think is the most effective and advantageous. And you know, the people who are my tribe, the people who think like me and the people who can appreciate, you know, the way that I am are going to appreciate it. And the people who are annoyed by it are going to be annoyed by it. And not a whole lot of me putting a lot of effort into being something completely different than what I am. As long as that is a good person who, you know, is kind and thinks about others and does all the things that
Living your purpose.
yeah, that align with my values of that. Maybe those aren't everyone's values, but I do like to be a good person. And as long as I'm doing that, then, you know, sometimes I'm going to rub people the wrong way.
Yeah.
Perfectly fine. What I wrote here is that we are collectively guiding ourselves towards personal empowerment. And I think that's the personal empowerment piece is sort of like a catchphrase, right? Like empower, you have to empower yourself. But that is essentially what we've
You're
been
taking the
talking
control
about.
back. You're giving yourself the power.
That is essentially what we've been talking about from the
Mhm.
beginning. Like the subtle art of
100%.
not giving a fuck isn't about not caring about what people are thinking about you. It's about understanding that it doesn't matter.
Right.
Like it's not that I don't care. It's not that I don't give a fuck. It's just that there are things that just don't matter. They
Yeah.
can't matter because they're pretend. The opinion delusion, I think, is what our girl Mel calls it.
Oh, I didn't highlight that. That's
It's
amazing.
wasting time and energy attempting to influences others' thoughts about them. Like really putting a lot of effort into something like working like an asshole because you want people in your group to think that you're the best at what you do.
Hmm.
I'm fine. I'm fine. I am learning
Yeah.
lessons.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that you should start reading this book from the beginning again.
I can't. I can't.
I think until you can start employing some of this, you're just going to have to keep rereading this particular book,
Why is it
these particular chapters.
why is it gotta be a punishment?
I don't know. I feel like, oh, speaking of punishment, this is why, because I'm watching the Ruby Frankie Hulu special. That's why.
Is she the Mormon? Is she the Mormon?
Yeah, she's the where I was making Owen watch it with me. I was like, "Hey, why don't you sit down with me and see what real terrible parenting is?
Right.
You'll
Right.
be thanking me over and over again."
My one of my favorite podcasts is going over Lori Vallow and Chad Daybell,
Oh,
also crazy ass
wow.
Mormons, right?
Wow, that's on a different level, man. On a different level. But yeah, totally fucked.
Yeah, that's a bad parent.
Yeah, and Ruby Frankie, it's actually her family that's being interviewed, like her eldest daughter and son and her husband
I
or
gotta watch
ex-husband.
this.
I'm assuming if he's not her ex-husband, he's an idiot, a complete moron.
Morin.
Yes, that too. That too. Anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to hijack, but yes, that's your punishment.
I have to go back and read this until I can employ these things in my life. Got
And
it.
I will also be taking your bedroom away from you, and you will be sleeping on a small beanbag for 7 months.
Seems fair. Thanks,
Yes.
Ruby.
Mhm. Yeah.
Like, I can't even listen to that stuff. Like,
And that's I think that I mean, I haven't even gotten into the bad stuff yet. Like
no, like,
that's
it gets so much
very
worse. Like,
yeah,
so
it's
much worse.
fucking awful. And there's a special place for people who do this shit to children.
But
So
on the
anyway,
upside, she had lots of followers.
oh my gosh, she was very popular. I mean, like he in the first episode, they're talking about how much money they were making, like 100 grand a month.
Right. I mean, if you're
And that probably wasn't even the top. Like that's like he was like, yeah, we went from 1,000 a month to 50,000 a month to 100 grand a month.
I mean, if you're willing to sacrifice your whole family, then
And I mean, that's essentially what happened. And I mean, as much as I'd
I mean,
love to win the lottery, I don't feel that it's really worth it.
you still have to live your life in line with your values.
Yeah, her values were fucked.
Right. Very scary. All right.
Anyway, sorry, I
So
hijacked.
really, yeah, I mean, I can see a lot of parallels in this book with all of the other stuff that we've learned and a lot of the tools that we have at our disposal for helping me understand how to get these things into my life. The good thing is that I haven't descended to a point where I'm completely burnt out and crying every day before I recognize that this might potentially be a problem and I need to fix it ASAP.
Well, that's good. And I mean, I think, the whole thing, admitting you have the problem is the first step. So baby steps, like I said, baby
Baby
steps. I
steps.
can't wait for us to finish recording and you go back to work.
No. Well,
Yeah. Yeah.
here's
I think
the
I highly advise that when we hit the stop button, that you leave your office.
I'm going out to dinner
Good.
because there are other people in my life that were like, "Hey, haven't seen you in 4 weeks. If you could just maybe come up for air."
Yeah.
So here
Yeah.
I
So
am.
that's good.
Yeah. Yes.
So the next section is actually called Fearing Other People's Opinions.
Oh, really?
Chapter 5 is Let Them Think Bad Thoughts About You. And chapter 6 is How to Love Difficult People. So I feel like chapter 5 will be able to get through. I mean, that'll probably be a lot of repeated shit again. I originally was going to say maybe we need to switch up books, but then I read the title of chapter 6 and I'm kind of interested in that one. So I would like to continue
What is
on.
it?
It's How to Love Difficult People. So
I mean,
I'm kind of interested in it.
is it because Becca's difficult?
Mhm.
Right.
No, no. I mean, it's just everybody has some difficult people in their lives. And I'm not even talking about like, I don't know.
The
I'm
obvious
interested in
people.
reading it. If it's
I will keep
if
reading
it's
it.
yeah, if after that we're seeing that it's just too much of the same shit, I think that maybe we should discuss moving on.
Cutting
I
bait,
will still
as they
read it,
say.
but if we're getting too much replication, it's going to get kind of boring for everybody. So
Right.
maybe we'll move on.
Nobody wants to hear the same stuff.
And
I mean,
the next book that
obviously,
I
I
want to
need to
read,
hear the same stuff over and over and over again because I can't
right?
apply
actually,
lessons.
actually, we should just finish the book.
Fine. We'll finish it. Fine. Fine.
Fantastic. All right, is that it? Are you
Yeah. I mean, short and sweet
good?
this week. I yammered
I
away a
like
lot about
it.
Prague. I
So
feel
I
like
think after all our off the rails at the beginning, we pulled
short
it
and sweet.
together.
Bang. Bang.
Fantastic. All right, a couple things to remind. Yeah, so April 4th at the Stage Craft House Stage Grill. Yeah, Craft
You
House.
got to
Yeah.
get the name of the place right.
Craft House Stage and Grill in the South
Okay.
Hills. Meet us
Excellent.
there. I'll be there at 5 o'clock. There's a super awesome band playing. It'll be so much fun. And they have beer. So
And
I'm
Sarah's
in.
birthday is the next day.
Yeah. And my birthday's the next day. So everybody should come out and party with us. And Becca will be there. Okay. Yeah. So
Yes.
you'll get to meet Becca. Um, and you'll get to meet Kim D because she's going to be there because her birthday is actually on April 4th. So we're going to celebrate. Substack is up. we're going to try to figure it out. We have some shit to talk about. Like us on Facebook. If you watch us on the YouTubes, do whatever you do on the tubes.
Don't
Subscribe.
You do that. Don't do whatever you do
Subscribe?
on the tubes. Yeah. Like
Yeah, I
I
don't know
think
what
there's
kind of
buttons
tubes
up
we're
here at the
talking
top.
about.
Like just like
There's
all
little thumbs,
do all
there's
the
thumbs.
do all the
I don't
things.
know.
Okay,
It's at
or
the
the down.
bottom.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, all of it. Wherever the buttons are, push all the buttons.
Push the buttons. And whatever platform you're listening to us, make sure you subscribe, like, or whatever you do on that platform. And I think that's it. What did I miss? Did I miss anything?
I think that's it.
Okay.
Yeah. All
All
right.
right.
Love you.
Love you. Bye.
All right. Love you. Bye.